Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a quick video showing you how you can make your own pattern paper and a die cut inlay technique using products from the stamp market. Here's a look at the cards that we're going to make today. Now let's get into the supplies. So I've got quite a few inks here from Gina, but let's look at the stamps and dies first. This is the Stamp Market Blossom Party and the Stamp Market Love You die. And then I've got some paper and some different size acrylic blocks. So here are my inks, some pinks, purples, yellows, and greens. All of these are Gina. And then I've got some papers, just Nina Solar White, and a piece of Doll Pink by Simon Says Stamp. Moving all of my supplies over to the other side. And let's get into making the card. So I've sped this up quite a bit, but what I've done is I've got all of my stamps here and a bunch of different size blocks. It's the first time I'm using these stamps, so I'm just rubbing them with the dry microfiber cloth to prep them. I'm taking the largest images from this flower building stamp set and putting those down first. I find that when I make pattern paper with stamps, this is the best route. Put down all of your biggest stamps first and then fill in with what is smaller. So I'm just taking a variety of the different flowers. There's quite a few flowers in this set, and they're pretty different from each other, but together make a really pretty background. So all of my flowers will either be in this pink, purple, or yellow combination. All of these sets have a layer to them. I think that the way that they look, for me, I just free-handed these, free-stamped, as Kathy Zolski calls it. I did not use a MISTI tool because I don't think it really matters. I think this stamp set looks really whimsical, and if you don't line it up perfectly, it's totally fine. I'm going to be using that Applemint color for some leaves, and the jelly bean green on top for the layers. So I'm just going to go through and stamp out all of these big images, rotating colors, trying to get it so that the same color isn't directly next to each other. So I don't want two pink flowers right next to each other, and making it so that you see that that first yellow flower was that cluster of little daisies. So that second yellow flower was the little rose. Trying to get some variation here. Then I am just going to keep going through, stamping out all of my largest images. My big leaves and all of my big flowers. This was not pre-planned. I didn't know exactly where I was going to stamp things. I'm just going through and looking and seeing what looks good to me where. So I stamp the base layer and then the secondary color right after it. Makes it so that I don't forget where I've stamped it. Dye inks, which these Gina inks are dye-based inks, sometimes look blotchy when you first stamp, but then they soak into the paper and really smooth out evenly. These are some of my favorite inks. So now I'm moving on to some of the smaller flowers. So I've got that small pink flower. It is the same flower that's in this cluster of those three flowers, which is the first purple flower that I stamped. Then I've got this even tinier little cluster, just going ahead and stamping the middles. And then I've got some smaller leaves. So here's where it really starts to come together. You see it filling in. And I'm just adding leaves next to flowers. Also, I think it's key that you stamp slightly off of the card so that it looks like the pattern is continuous. If you only stamp all of your images on the inside, you know, to exactly the card size, then it won't look as continuous. Going through and stamping some of these with the darker colors instead of just the lighter colors to add in some variation. And here's where you see I'm just going in and filling in lots of these open areas with some of these tiny little images. On these, sometimes I think more is more, and it's hard to stop. So I oftentimes will just keep going, and then I get carried away. By the way, off screen, I am cleaning off these images with a tidy towel and a microfiber cloth. There is one space here that I thought was big enough for a flower, so just going ahead and adding that one in. Obviously, this is really sped up. No one stamps as fast. If I could, I'd probably be in the stamping Olympics. That should actually be a thing. Okay, so once I am happy with my panel, I'm going to get out that Love You die, and I am going to die cut that out of the panel that I just worked so hard on. Sometimes this can be scary, so be sure that it's exactly in the place that you want it to be before you die cut this, or you're going to have to start all over again. It probably took me in real life about 20 minutes to stamp out that panel. So once I've run it through both papers, then you just start doing the inlay. So I'm going to take the floral die cut letters and pop them into the pink panel. And then I will pop the pink letters into the floral panel. Make sure that you keep all of those little pieces for the inside of the O and the U, because, or not the Y, excuse me, because you'll need them for the other card. Because you'll see here in a minute, I will use the inside of the pink O to complete this image. So once you've done the die cutting, these come together really quickly. It's just a matter of lining it up and gluing them in. I'm using Gina K Connect glue to do all of my gluing today. It's my favorite liquid adhesive. So there's one card done. So now we'll do the other panel, which is that floral panel. This one, you need to be a little bit more careful, especially on the O, when you line in the missing floral piece in the center. So just going ahead and sticking down all these letters. Making sure the pattern is continuous. Adding glue to that delicate U. And I'll just stick that in there. I love this sentiment. You could send this to anybody. Your mom, your friend, just as an encouragement card, a hello card. I think it's really, really sweet. Well, those are the cards for today. Pretty easy, pretty simple, but I think it makes just a really fun card and a design that makes it look like you created your own pattern paper. Click to subscribe to see more from me, or click down below to watch another video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much.